Hi everyone, today I'm going to start a new video series which I think I'm going to call The Anatomy of Hockey Sticks. So this is episode 1, we're talking about this half of the stick, we're talking about the handle. So first thing of note is not all handles are round and very few handles are round all the way to the end. Most handles out there are going to start off thicker at the end cap and then slowly move to the thinnest point, which is actually in the middle of the grip, and then start to thicken out again as they end up getting closer to the head of the hockey stick. Sticks are going to be round or oval. There are some hexagon sticks out there. An oval grip, one, complies a little bit easier with FIH regulations. The FIH is the governing body of hockey. So every stick has a bow to it. The bow is measured with a cathedral type object. You place the cathedral under the bow at the point at where the bow is highest when the stick is resting naturally on a completely flat surface. Then you work out if the face I've marked here on the cathedral touches the stick before the point of the cathedral at the front touches it. There's a whole other video I've done all about the legality of sticks and how it's measured. Back to the end of the stick. If you have an ovaled, squished end to your hockey stick, this end ends up getting closer to the table. Generally, your whole stick sits lower and you're able to eke out those few trace millimeters onto this part. In reality, all sticks other than crown sticks are quite all over the place in terms of their bow size, so this is kind of just a fail-safe just in case one of their sticks is very different to another. So that's the legality stuff out of the way. The other reason, and main reason that affects most players, of why your stick would be oval at the end is to prevent your stick from twisting as easily in your hands. An oval shape or a hexagonal shape is going to take a considerable amount more effort to twist in your hands. This is very relevant to field hockey because it's very likely that you hit the ball with the toe of your stick, sometimes even intentionally. But if you're going for a big swing, you hit the toe of your stick. I'm sure we've all been there. We felt the stick twist in our hands. An oval or hexagonal grip is less likely to make that happen. However, there are downsides to not being able to twist a stick in your hand as easily. As in field hockey, it's extremely important to be as agile as possible. There's lots of dribbling skills that involve rotating the stick in your hand. Generally controlling the ball and getting in the right place means rotating the stick as well. So that is quite key. A completely cylindrical one is going to be a lot faster and more agile to move in your hands. And also, not all sticks have the same thickness of grip. Almost all sticks are thicker by your right hand. Too thick an oval at this part, and it's often quite difficult generally to just turn. Maybe you find your hand getting more tired. This leads us into our next point, width of handle. Now, most of the time, it is probably better to go for a thin handle. However, if you have a giant set of hands, then maybe you want to go for a thicker handle. Most sticks out there kind of range in handle thickness from about 23 millimeters to 30. This is actually quite a big difference and quite noticeable. And then when you add on the fact that you're adding a grip onto the top of that handle, then it becomes very different. You can get some very thick grips, you can get some very thin grips. Your grip actually makes quite a lot of difference to your handle shape. If you don't quite like your handle shape at the moment, I usually suggest that you change your grip first, just to get a sense of if it was the grip that you didn't like in the first place. Thicker grips will usually make people feel more connected with the stick in terms of locked into their grip position. You often find defenders go for this option because they can lock in their grip, know that if they're going in for a challenge, their grip isn't going to be altered or hit. This is also something that people that only smash the ball at goal go for as well, or do massive hits up the pitch. They want to be very connected. They don't want any kind of slippage. They want to sink into the grip and be locked in. People that dribble a lot and are used to doing quick skills, 3D skills, maybe very technical things like trying to get good backhand angles and good shot angles, we usually go for a thinner grip because they want to get closer. They want to be able to rotate the stick quickly. They want to feel nimble and have a more nimble product in hand. In relation to crown sticks generally have a thin handle and a thick grip. This ends up making it a pretty average sized grip in relation to other hockey stick brands out there, probably erring on the thinner side. It also is ovaled, but only slightly. We're trying to get the best of both worlds here, where it's ovaled and not easy to twist in your hands, but it still feels very nimble as a product. It also goes to thick here. Our low bow is generally thicker, as we wanted to make this area more powerful, which is a whole new topic all on itself. The size of the handle, in terms of length, is also a big deal. There are lots of sticks out there which are about 15 inches long. There are some that can be like 19 inches long in terms of grip length. 17 is what we go for. Most are actually shorter. We've gone for an extended grip because most people usually end up putting their hand way lower nowadays to get more control over the ball. We think a longer grip is good. This will affect the balance and weight. A grip is a very heavy part of the stick, in all honesty, and different grips weigh different amounts. Ours is a very heavy grip and quite long, so it really pushes the balance back. However, we're generally more head heavy than most sticks, so it ends up making it as a very even product, right in the middle, again, trying to get the best of both worlds. This is something you should consider when buying, only because at the point of where it gets thicker might alter. If it gets thicker too high up and you want to extend your grip, you'll end up having a much chunkier right hand to wrap around, which could feel uncomfortable, could be awkward to do quick movements with, or could be exactly what you're after because you want to grip tight and be locked in. And vice versa, the handle section could be very elongated out, could be very thin for a long time. Generally speaking, I would think about how locked in you want to be with your stick. What is your playing style? Are you someone who is moving your stick a lot in your hands? Then I would weigh up how thick you want the stick. In terms of the end cap of the handle, there's lots of hard plastic end caps out there, which I, at the moment, would strongly recommend you avoid, because usually the plastic is very easy to breaking. It's quite hard to make that a hard plastic thing that doesn't shatter quite easily if you drop it on concrete or something like that. Or potentially just wear down so thin from the abrasion of the AstroTurf that it eventually goes anyway, or just breaks into pieces because of the amount of crunching you've been doing with your own left hand. So I would probably recommend staying away from there. Most brands have now gone away from that harder plastic and are more into a softer plastic or silicone at the end. Personally, I feel that's a lot nicer to deal with. It's a lot more robust. I would probably recommend more for that. The hard plastics also seem to have nails in them sometimes. I would definitely try and see if you've got a nail in your stick. I think it's a terrible idea to have a proper metal nail in the end where your hand is. I would recommend against that, but that's quite an old thing now. I feel like most brands have moved on from that. But that is one thing to consider when considering what handle stick you should go for. That's kind of it with all my points of the handle. Generally, if you don't like your handle, change your grip first, see how it is. If you do like your handle, great, keep with it, try and stick with it. As long as the handle isn't dictating your playing style, you're dictating what handle you want to go for because of your play style. That's the key element, that's the best thing to go for. Come back in a little bit and I'll do another video discussing more points of different parts of the stick in this new hockey anatomy series I'll do. I'll give my opinions on other stuff. And yeah, say which part of the stick you want to know more about. Talk to me if you've got any more questions about handles in the comments. Write them in there and I'll try my best to answer them. And thank you for watching, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye. Play hockey.